Earlier in the program, we told you about President Obama using the N-word during an interview. We mentioned what he said, but didn't really talk that much about where he said it. The president was appearing on a podcast called WTF with Mark Maron. Maron is a comedian. He'll be in Portchester on Thursday. And I think we all know what WTF stands for. He has made a habit, the president has, of appearing on late-night talk shows, even slow jamming the news with Jimmy Fallon. So this is the question that always gets asked when something like this happens. Anybody have a problem with the venue that the president chose, appearing on a podcast or doing the comedy shows or doing the Zach Galifianakis?
We were talking about this in the green room. I really don't. And we were saying that it was either the Times or the Journal had a story about how consumers, the largest population of consumers are millennials, and advertisers are desperate to get in front of them for all sorts of products. So why should it be any different in terms of how you consume your news? And they consume news on podcasts and on their handhelds and on their laptops and streaming. And I think it's fair game, and it's appropriate.
Just to establish my nerd credentials for Jeannie, I did a little research.
I went back to the data.
100 million downloads have been done for the Maron podcast. That's as of last year. 220,000 listeners per episode. You assume it's going to be more this go around.
Well, I don't have a problem with him doing it. I have a problem with the degree of how frequently he does that juxtaposed to serious sit-down interviews. When you're spending more time interviewing the woman that takes a bath full of Fruit Loops and you can't sit down and do a serious interview with the White House press corps, that to me is a problem. So if you want to sprinkle a little bit in there, that's great, that's all good, but it can't be the majority of what you're doing. Which
Plus,
is,
it's
he's
time that
the
he could be
American
playing
Idol
golf.
president. I mean, this is how he's been from day one.
All right, so let's go back to what he actually said. And we were having this conversation. And Jeannie, I don't think I got your take on what does the president get out of using the N-word in that conversation? What's the advantage?
You know, I think he thinks this is a really serious issue he's committed to, and he wants as many people paying attention. So I think it's absolutely a grab at attention. I have to say, I am uncomfortable with him using it. You know, it also, the venue itself. You know, he is the president of the United States. How much of this stuff do we have to get dumbed down to go on a show called WTF? I mean, I have to admit, I'm one of the very few people who doesn't listen to it, and
No, me too.
It's on something called the internet.
The World Wide Web.
Maybe I'm a nerd, but you know, I do worry a little bit. I'm not, and this is nothing against him. Politics as a whole has become, you know, this kind of, you know, everybody's out there doing this stuff to get attention. It goes back to Bill Clinton and his, with his saxophone and talking about his underwear. I get the need to get attention, but it makes me uncomfortable.
Dom, I give you the last word on this because
I got the last word.
Yeah, because.
But you guys are going to accuse me of talking about race.
Because now
you guys say I talk about race all the time.
Now the conversation is
Ask
about
the black man.
Now the conversation is about the president's use of the word instead of the subject matter that he was originally trying to draw attention to.
First of all, again, what he said. I should be calm and mild-mannered.
No. Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. Let it fly.
It's
let
6:52.
It fly.
Let it go.
Okay, so let it fly. What he said. There's not a black person in America that doesn't understand what the president said.
That's not his only audience.
Of course, that's not his only audience. But he's telling the truth. Is he telling the truth?
But presidents don't tell the truth all the time.
I didn't want to say this. I was trying my best to be cool.
No,
and I didn't want to say this.
Say it.
You don't think that many of those senators and Congress members have used that same word in private referring to this president?
Presidents have also.
And you don't think he knows that? You don't think he knows that with some of them, I'm not saying all, Jessica.
He's doing it in public.
Some of them,
he's doing it in public.
Yeah, he is doing it in public. But I mean, he's the first black president. I mean, come on. Come on. They're doing everything they can to block his agenda. Even the Secret Service is not doing a good job protecting this president.
They're not blocking his agenda because he's black. They're blocking it because it's bad for the country.
I tell you what.
They're doing the same thing to Bill de Blasio, and they're going to do the same thing to Hillary Clinton, too. So
I tell you what. If you want a fair opinion, go to any black barbershop or a beauty shop and ask them what they think.
Dominic, thank you. Dominic, Jeannie, Jessica, Michael, we didn't have time, but you just recently donated a kidney, so congratulations on doing that. Thank you for being back here for that.
You're very welcome. It was a friend of over 20 years, and I was happy to be able to do it, and I expect other people would do the same if they were able to.
Mazel tov, sir. Mazel tov. What a match. That's Lou Fedler, the
former city councilman. Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for saving a life. We'll see you right back after the break for Hudson Valley Headlines.